Well, listen, well, good evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. It is, of course, a pleasure, particularly when we are here to talk about a specific thing. But before we get into that specific thing, how are you, Oscar?
I'm very good, thanks, Colin, mate. I really appreciate you having me here. It's been quite a long time coming getting to actually speak to you guys properly because I think it was a while ago you managed to review one of our older singles. I might be entirely wrong, but we've definitely done something with you before. But it's good to be back.
You did indeed, because I queried myself as well earlier on. I was like, what was it? What was specifically done? And it was a Bloodstock interview, a pre-Bloodstock 2023 interview that feature that was done
Yes.
specifically, and in that the single was covered in that. A single was covered in that as well. So that was the specific thing because I knew it was Bloodstock related, but it all starts to after a few years of doing Bloodstock and festivals, it all starts to merge into one, and you have to wonder which year was it. I had to think when the hell was it. For some reason, I thought it was a lot earlier than it actually was. Um, does that already, I mean, I know it's silly to say because it's so long ago, but do you still have that high feeling from that year?
It's one of those ones where it we didn't expect it was going to happen because I remember initially Bloodstock Festival was the first ever metal festival I'd ever gone to. Back
Mm,
in 2014, I went on one day to see when it was Megadeth headlining and it was a Monomouth supporting, which
yep.
nowadays, like you'll see them at the same festival and they'll be headlining at the same time. It's absolutely crazy. So come round to 2023, Megadeth was the headliner once again. So when I got that email through from Simon, I just literally snapped my chair in two in disbelief, thinking this is just some spam guy. I need to double check that email real fast. But come to actually getting to actually play the festival that I've been going to for so many years, it's you blink and it's finished, but for the most part, it's something you just can't forget at all. It's that state of ecstaticness that you'll never ever get over. It's like, how do I get to do this more often? It's almost encouraging as well, you know.
Yeah, it's a high point, but it's not an end point. You just want to get that high again and a new kind of high.
Yeah, exactly right. Like I remember it because we only opened the fourth stage, which opening any position, it's an honor and a privilege to get to do that
Mm.
sort of thing, of course. And I remember going up the stage thinking, oh, we're on just before I can't remember the name of the band on the main stage. They're quite well known. It's a Vogs band. Uh, I, I can't remember. My brain is awful for that. But it was one of those ones where you clashed just about with a really known band. So you thought, no one's going to be here. Just the privilege is good enough alone. Like 5 minutes before stage time, we look over to the front and we go, that's a lot of people. Goodness gracious. And then, yeah, it's to this day, I think it's got to be one of our favorite, if not best gigs we've ever done.
I'm glad it's you still feel so strongly about it because time, of course, Dents changes all things, and you look back and you think, well, it wasn't that big of a deal, or it wasn't that big of a deal for us, particularly where you are at this stage now. So it's good that you've still got those positive feelings about it. But speaking of now, at this point in time, this specific point in time, particularly as we are, of course, building to the release of a new single, but without speaking about that specific release, what is currently keeping you busy?
In terms of what's keeping us busy
Hmm.
is obviously a lot of we are writing some other new music as well. So obviously we've got the main single that we can obviously discuss in a bit. We've also got some more music outside of that because we've decided to take our sort of brand of like noughties metalcore and hardcore and kind of try and delve into a more modern hardcore sound as well. So make noughties metalcore and modern hardcore and sort of smash them together to create
Hmm.
something new. So we've got some more music like that coming out. So we've got the new video coming out soon, and then we've got some like a lyric video coming out after that, and any more music after that hasn't been fully done yet. But other than that, we've got some nice gigs coming up as well. So just off the back of the release, we will be playing a show in Nottingham with Hacktivist at the Saltbox with also two amazing bands in Retrospect and Echelon. Echelon have just been like blowing up, absolutely amazing bunch of guys. And then other than that, in the year we're kind of like trying to hone our like stage sound and everything like that. So we've got gigs with the Eccentrics coming up, and we've got a couple more like smaller fests coming up with a few of our friends' bands like Recall the Remains and things like that, which we're really excited for as well. So it's keeping the machine oiled over while developing ourselves in the background. That's kind of make 2025 slightly different because we're usually quite a live band, but a little bit more focused.
Okay, so it sounds incredibly focused. It's very exciting and heartening as well to hear there's so many things going on that's not a live front, but on the production studio side of things, the writing processes and all of that. It's always feels good to hear that.
Yeah.
And of course, we are a mere few weeks away from the release of your new single, Glass Hands. So sum this one up for me if you can. Sum up what this showcases about those once loyal.
So Glass Hands is probably the best culmination of the sounds we've wanted to sound like. So
Mm.
a lot of the writing is generally like behind myself. I do a lot of the writing for the band. But after we released Relentless Cycle, I thought to myself, let's open this up. You know, everyone in the band has an influence. Let's make something that makes all of us in one song. And Glass Hand is the kind of culmination of like my love for the noughties metalcore bands. So you like your Trivium, yeah. To groove metal it, you could Machine Edit. You could also have like All That Remains and all those sort of ones. Unearth as well, fantastic band. And then you've got the modern sort of hardcore bands like you've got your Kublai Khan, you've got your Throne, and you've got other bands on those sorts. And it's the best combination of what makes us the band that we are is this short 2.5 minute punch to the face.
Ah, right. Okay. So it defines you as you are right
Basically,
now.
yeah, because I think beforehand it was kind of just finding the sound, and
Mm.
now it feels like we've kind of hit a bit of a good point, for lack of a better word. You know, there's only so much of one thing you can emulate without everyone being together and making it not just one person's project, it's everyone's togetherness, which sounds a bit soppy, but I couldn't word that better.
Was this during that particular creative period? So you're creating music, and this is a song that's coming out of it. Was that the initial vision though, or did it just start to look like that? Where the initial vision was, okay, we want this to be the statement of who we are at this point in time. Was
uh,
that there to begin with?
in the beginning, it was kind of just me and my drummer Tom. We just he usually bounces ideas off me, so he'll send me a drum track or something, and I'll be like, "Cool, here's some riffs and stuff." And then this was one of those songs where we didn't really need to review it too much; it just connected. And then my singer Matt, who's also been another amazing band called Human Deceit, by the way,
Mhm.
the lyrics just flow through him. So it's a song not just about us, but for my singer's perspective, it's also a song that dips into the political side of things. Of course, it's a song about idolizing false people. They're just in power, and people listen, and the words that they say don't mean anything. So it's the aggression and unity of the band, and the lyrical content is almost the antiverse of that. You know what I mean?
Did you fully understand though at that time, particularly creating the track, the direction you were heading in? Did it feel like you knew what you were doing, or you were in control?
It felt one of the most. Felt like it was one of the most fluid writing processes we've had in a long time. It's very rare, I generally find, where a lot of writing doesn't get plagued with self doubt. Like you'll start writing something, you'll step away from it, you'll come back and go, "Nah, it's no good. It's no good. It's no good." But it's one of those ones where once we finished this one,
Mm.
roughly, we came back to it and went, "This still really hits right for us." You know, like the lyrics work, the sound works, and for us as well, it's taking a different territory. We write most of our stuff on 6 string guitars. This is on 7 strings, so it's gone from drop C to drop A as well.
Mm.
So it's almost like an evolution. There's a lot of ways of describing it. I think each band member has their own feeling about it, and I'm
Right.
trying to get them all together, if you know what I mean.
You well, yeah, yeah, of course. Particularly, yeah. I mean, you've got to be you're the one here, you're the one here answering the questions and giving the statements and this kind of thing. So you're never going to be able to obviously say somewhat what others might particularly feeling over, but you can confidently say that you're all quite pleased and proud, clearly, of what you've created here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's something that we're really glad we've done. It's probably the shortest song we've ever written and me ever write. But hey, you know, the attention span of everyone's less than an album nowadays. Most people want singles and EPs. Here's two and a
Hmm.
half minutes. If you liked it, you can listen to it again. It's the length of a normal song.
Well, what was it? Was it always what was it trimming down? I mean, how much fat needed to be trimmed off it initially, or was it quite short, sharp to begin with?
It was openly quite a sharp song. Yeah. Initially, me and Tom, the drummer, had the idea of a lot of our songs can almost border 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs nowadays, for example, as the bands I mentioned, Kublai Khan and Throne, and you know, You're Not Loose and stuff like that, a lot of their songs as well are very short. Like Kublai
Mm.
Khan's last album that came out was 23 minutes long. There's 10 songs on it. So we also try to tip into the idea of what's going to keep people's attention the longest. And we thought
Right.
having a lot for you in such a short space of time, because the worst thing you can do is like when you go to an interview, explain yourself in 5 minutes. Well, here's 2.5 minutes, and here's a video as well. So you get everything you need.
So it's fair to say, alongside the direction you're going in, the encouraging sort of unity you have in the sound and understanding of what you want to do is matching up with a modern way of looking at how music is not only digested but created.
Yeah, correct. I think it's one of those ones where we're a band that started in 2019-ish,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how much has changed in the musical landscape since then and now. Like we've
Mm.
only just decided to go, you know what? We can't avoid TikTok forever. We kind of need to use it. And it's one of those ones where we've also had to research what does music look like in our area? How long do song lengths matter? Does everything matter? It almost feels like it's completely different. You online matters more than you on a stage.
Mm.
As sad as it sounds, in terms of progression nowadays. So I think we've had to look at this from a sort of very modern standpoint. You've got to grow with the times sometimes.
Yeah, but it's exhausting and it's a lot of work that consistently changes. Do you feel like you are, at the moment at least, keeping up with the constantly adapting world of the music industry?
I think, to be brutally honest, I think it feels, unless you already had the backing behind you to a degree, it feels like you just can't, you know.
Right.
And everyone has that dream where, like, oh, I still want to be a big musician. I still want to feel like I've done enough musically. But you'll see what's made it, how it's made
Mm.
it, and think to yourself, that's not what I wanted to make it, but I'm gonna have to. And I feel like with the changing landscape, as you were saying, it's becoming harder to want to carry it on at the same level. But if you love it enough, then sometimes it's got to give.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that well, we all know how impossible it is, how impossible it is for just about everybody. So it's almost not worth getting stuck on it and just, you continue to enjoy and I'll continue to enjoy talking to you about what you continue to enjoy, and hopefully we'll all enjoy something about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, then, speaking about Glasshound specifically, and you personally, and this is in regards to, while you may have felt comfortable and enjoying what you were creating here, there may have been some challenging aspects of creating this song as well. Were you challenged personally at any stage of creating this track?
I think the biggest personal challenge would have to have been taking it to a different musical, taking it
Hmm.
on different musically. For example, like a lot of our other stuff, like when we released Relentless Cycle, it's a very sort of, they're all very quick songs, like they're kind of like melodic death metal meets metalcore meets thrash metal. It's a core sort of era and everything like that. So the riffs are quicker and the drum beats are quicker. But in this single, we just completely 180'd it. It's a slower paced song. It's a much more down-tuned song. It's a shorter song, and it encouraged us to try and explore a different landscape of musicianship. And in my case, it definitely did. I've only just really started playing on seven strings, and I know it's more on a personal level, that one, but it's learning how to play the same instrument, but slightly differently. Like a scale's not the same, a riff's not the same, nothing
Yeah.
sounds the same or feels the same. So it almost made you relearn what you thought you already
Hmm.
knew and then take it to another level. Like I couldn't, if I played that song on a six string, for example, wouldn't have the same feel, sound, or anything like that at all. So I think it challenged me to be a better musician in that aspect of exploring something I'd not done before.
Well, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's such a unique switch up. Regardless, you say it sounds so silly, one extra string, and it's so different. And suddenly here we are. But obviously, you push yourself in ways that you didn't expect. Were you surprised that you were able to master it?
Mastering is a very bold word. I'd not say it's
All
just like
right.
a caveman hitting a load of strings, but at the end of the day, I'd say it was a different result than I think I could have expected. But that also doesn't have to be a bad thing at all. I think I love the track personally.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't pop it off if I didn't think, yeah, sure, let's see if people enjoy what we've got going on here. So mastering it to a degree, I guess so, but definitely getting better at it, acquainted with a new style. Absolutely.
Well, that's the ever evolving part of your personal journey as an artist, as a musician. Whether you ever fully master an instrument is another thing completely, but getting better at it and learning new things, well, that's the fun, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it depends. It's like when I recently got I recently got a Line 6 Helix that everyone's owned, their mum, their dad, their uncle. And
Mm.
my God, I'm such a caveman when it comes to stuff like that because
Right.
I've just had Blackstar amps the whole time, valve amps. Just turn it on like that, turn the dials, you're perfectly fine. This is
Yeah.
a pedal board and an amp, and I just put it down and went, Chase, can you just
Yeah.
sit with me for an hour and teach this old guy how to do this? Because I was like, oh God. But that's the whole point of evolution again, isn't it?
Yeah. What motivates you personally to want to evolve like that? Why not just stick with, as say, the Luddite technology if you want?
I think the problem with not evolving is if your goals involve you getting anywhere in the modern world, the
Hmm.
caveman technique might only get you so far.
Yep.
It's there is absolutely nothing wrong with valve amps. I'll still say that everyone uses their own tech because that's what makes them sound the way they sound at the end of the day. But if you can make it easier, if you can make it sound better, more efficient, or with anything that's happening now, then don't be afraid to try something else just because the first thing you saw you were good at. Otherwise, you'll never change. So yeah, I'd say so.
Well put. Well put. Okay, is this track, is it part of a bigger picture? What I mean by that, I'm not just talking about creating music overall. I mean, are you quietly and secretly, and you probably wouldn't tell me actually if you were, working on an EP and an album or anything like that, or is it just kind of standalone as part of a progressing sound?
Well, for this could be a GBHBL exclusive. Just kidding. No, it can't. You get nothing. No,
Yeah,
it's
of course.
it's part of at the minute just a split release, so it's two singles.
Mhm.
So we haven't revealed the second one yet, but I can say that this is part of a double release. So we've got this one coming out now. This is Glass Hands, and then we've got another one coming out in a couple months' time, undetermined month, but pretty soon. I don't mind saying the name because it will come soon. It's called Dirt to Gold, and that's got a much different face to it entirely, which we're really excited about doing. In terms of
Okay.
any further than that, it may evolve into something EP related, just to culminate a work for a full band. But at the
Yep.
minute, we've just got it as a double release.
No, always worth asking the question. You never know, you might reveal something so unsurprising. But either way, very excited to hear there's a second single coming. But of course, it's part of the constantly evolving face of those once loyal. And we'll see. The future is looking bright. Speaking of that, sticking with the single specifically, though, of course, there's a video for this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that. What made you first decide, hey, we want to do a video for this as well, and the process? What was it like?
Oh, it's a really strange one. To say how long we've been an actual band, this is
Mm,
the first actual music video we've done. So the
right.
ones we've done before have either been lyric videos or live videos. So it's just a
Mm.
culmination of clips from when you were live. So this one was like an idea that me and our singer Matt came up with, and it kind of harkens back to the sort of noughties era. So we used the likes of A Day to Remember, there
Yep.
like and some other noughties bands where the backdrop is just you're in a small room and there's a load of things around the room. And in this case, we decided to pick a load of like Kerrang magazines and Metal Hammers and gig
Yeah.
posters from times while we were growing up and put them around our room as almost like a tribute or an homage to what we enjoyed the most growing up with. And that formed the basis of the video shoot. It's a standard standalone sort of, you're in a room, you're playing your instruments, but if you look in the background, you'll be able to find a few
Mm.
things that, are our influences in our past and some of our gig posters, some of our friends' gig posters, all that sort of stuff. It was a really fun day as well
Yeah.
because it was where was it? It was around Wigan area in a dusty old warehouse that actually used to be an old school. So it was slightly creepy at the same time. So whenever you had a little break, you got to explore all the little classrooms and be like, terrifying. Anyway, just carry on looking around. But it was with a guy called Charles. He works in his own production business called Diaphany Productions. And he's
Hmm.
also in a fantastic band called Only the Righteous. Real good friends with those guys. And he filmed it all in one day and sent us a draft the next day. And we were just there like, this man is a
Oh,
genius.
wow.
Everything he ever does is just gold. I mean, he's going to be covering our set hopefully when we play with Hacktivist as well. So we're really proud of what it's come out like.
Yeah, it looks it does actually look incredible as well. I've watched the video, of course, and Yeah, it's really interesting. It was your first ever actual official video. What stopped? I mean, what is it? Budget, time, that kind of thing that just stopped you beforehand?
I think one of the biggest ones that was a real annoyance for us was the thing that happened to the entire world for 2 years,
Of
because
course.
we started on 2019 and then give it a couple months, we all
Mm,
hit into lockdown pretty much. I know it's a taboo topic and we've all spoke about it so much, it's like a bad headache coming back every 5 minutes. But it almost, I think it put back the whole musical landscape, the whole 2 years for everyone. So brand new bands, established bands, everything fell apart. So when we finally came out of the back of it, we were like, we've got a lot of catching up to do. Jeez,
yeah.
like we had quite a lot of premise ahead of us at that point in time, and then it all fell away. So in terms of, and what happened with that as well was a slightly more revolving door sort of band member issue. We've only just now solidified our lineup after
Mm,
5 years.
mm.
And of course, we picked the bassist that everyone knows. He was in Beyond Your Design. He was in Forever in the Making. We got Chase Swain on bass because he's like he's like a raccoon you find in your bin all the time. And we just thought, you know what, we'll have you. You're good enough. And that's what helped us lead to now we've got a solid lineup. Let's get a video out, everything ready, because you can showcase ourselves as a full unit at this point.
This feels like an important moment in time for you guys. You know, not to over like stretch it and overstate it, but ultimately you're talking about a song that defines who you are at this particular stage and is a blueprint, if you want, a blueprint for what the future might hold. It comes with the fact that your first ever video. I mean, these are all important things. You've got these big and important gigs coming up. It feels like 2025 is looking like, at least the latter half is looking really, really strong for you.
Yeah.
But do you yourself have a measure of success for what success would look like for this single?
I think we try, like I've discussed this with the band already. I think
Yeah.
we've got a very realistic expectation of success. I don't expect massive radio play. I don't expect to appear in, reaction videos or,
Mm.
be shared around everywhere or anything like that. When you've been gone for a while, this is around 2 years since we released Relentless Cycle, you almost kind of have to admit you've started again to one degree or
Mm.
another. So my level of like success for this would be, as silly as it sounds, as long as I can see the streams, like how Spotify doesn't let you see stuff until you've hit 1,000, for example. I know some of our last stuff has had around 20,000, 10,000, what have you, but starting again, algorithm's different. It's all going to be dependent. I think as long as I can comfortably say people have told me they've liked it and I can see it evolving each day, see the people listening to it every day, and people come to us after shows and say, that's really amazing. Like, this is such a great change for you. Then openly, I'm happy. As long
Yeah.
as like it's after now that you get bigger aspirations of everything like that. Because we will be working with the singer of Hacktivist, JJ,
Mhm.
on the actual release itself. So he's going to help us with some of the like YouTube side of things to try and reach a bigger market.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change how I feel. It would just be nice to get it further than it needs to be, of course.
Fabulous. Fingers crossed that it does that and more, and that it allows you to go on to bigger and better things. Because ultimately, I think that's the hopeful measure as well, at least from my perspective, is that from a release, whatever it might be, I then see it either bounces you into a potential tour, show, whatever it might be. But also alongside that, I always want to know that you've got a busy year plus plan. You already sort of said at the start that you do, but on that front, goals. What's a realistic goal that you would like to achieve? Say, well, let's kind of do the end of 2025, but also into 2026, maybe summer next year.
Yeah, oh, that's a big one, isn't it? No, it
Mm,
sounds really silly for probably bands around our area. We've all got massive aspirations, but the bigger picture, it's quite hard to have nowadays, isn't it? But one thing I'd like to have by the end of the year is a busier 2026. I know I'm going into the new year
yeah,
ready to hit the ground running, for example. So I would love to come back to Bloodstock, but on a different stage, for example. I'd love
yeah,
to
yeah,
try and push that one up a little bit more. I'd love to try and get back out there with some bigger artists again. Like in 2023, we played with Atreyu at Rock City.
yeah.
That was a phenomenal thing that will always live in my head rent free every time. And I think one of the other things, the main thing for a lot of us would be to get out of the UK and see what Europe has to offer at some point.
Ooh.
I know that's a whole sort of self-funded journey. Let's be real here, but it's when you're small, you've got to just do it sometimes, you know, because it's also a great experience getting to see what real grassroots touring looks like because it's glamorized a lot of the time in tour videos.
Of
So
course.
let's see the real world.
Very realistic and all very, very fair. Right, Oscar, this is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are random cards of everything and anything. Lots of submissions by bands and artists as well that we've spoken to over the years. It is currently going for a little bit of a redesign. So there are some things missing in here, but there's a majority I put back in just for this because I knew we were going to be talking. It's all in the name of fun. There is nothing particularly challenging. You're not going to have to sit there and scratch your head, or I'm going to ask you anything too deep. Okay, so randomly, we start with: have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what is that nickname?
Oh, the thing is, because my name is so basic, I haven't really got a nickname per
Hmm.
se, but I have got. Well, actually, I suppose it would be. So my nickname for a small period of time when I used to work for Wilco was
Hmm.
actually Wilco because one of the cat food boxes in there used to say Oscar enjoys his perfect meal. So outside of work, I was just called Wilco because I was a cat food brand. So it's
Oh,
amazing.
for those that would watch this video and who maybe don't know British humor, that is the most British nickname ever.
It literally, and for those who don't quite understand Wilco like us Brits do, it would be like removing one of the most important shops in your country. If you want
There it
photo
is.
frames, you're done.
Okay, what is your favorite or one of your favorites animated TV show?
Oh, I'm a massive anime fan, so
Oh,
that's going to be a real loaded question. So
okay.
I'll say I'll say my favorite and the one I'm watching at the minute just to get that off my head. One of my favorites of all time would have to be Attack on Titan. Uh,
Right.
Absolutely love Attack on Titan. It's a story that just seems really blasé for the first season and a bit, and then all of a sudden, do you like genocide? Do you like race hate? Do you like the world coming to an end? Didn't see that coming, did you? And you're like, oh my
Mm.
god! And it's a real powerful anime. If you've, well, I suppose a lot of people should have time for it. They're only about 20 minutes a piece, but I literally love it. It's like a comfort anime. Ironically, of course, at this point. And then I suppose the one I'm watching at the minute that I would say is my current favorite would be Solo Leveling, which I think a few people have heard of before. And that one's just about man goes to a different world. It's kind of like if an RPG was your life, for example. So you level up by doing stuff. However, it's trying to save his mum while also leveling up in the real world and this video game world that's kind of fusing, but you don't know why. I love
Okay.
anime. The thing is, you should cut me off because I'm going to talk all day and ruin this, but it's absolute. It's just great.
No, it is fascinating because this is an interesting question. Because the last couple of weeks, I thought, okay, I've never really watched anime as it is. Let me try a couple of shows that are kind of famous, like, or at least like when that like would be well known. Try a few and see if anything grabs me. Maybe it would case. Anyway, my wife and I started Attack on Titan. We've only had time to watch the first few episodes, but we are planning to continue that watch. But me on my own. I started watching something called Demon Slayer, and I watched the first, like I binge watched the first season, and I just started the second today. And like, have you seen that show? Like,
I love Demon Slayer. It is beautiful as well. The art style
very
is phenomenal.
entertaining. I find it very entertaining.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's. I do love the joke that it's basically just Michael Jackson destroys this man's family and then he goes on a rampage to get his revenge. But it's like the art style and the story. Yeah, it's quite simple, I guess, but it's just lovely. It's really good. It's such fun.
Okay, if you could then I'm going to ask you a question, not from this, but from me. If you could recommend a starting anime to someone that's never watched any anime in their life, but they kind of want to get into it, what would you choose? What would you suggest that someone watch?
Oh, you're a loaded man. That is an unfair question. A lot of people would probably say something like Naruto, for example.
Right.
But I would never say that because, yeah, start an anime, but do you have the patience for 900 episodes and then it's a
Is
carry
that
on?
it?
And also, there's a lot of filler. So you could get there's whole blocks of like 26 episodes that don't matter. So
Mm.
it's not really worth it. Oh, but a starting anime is a tough one. I'd tell you, I'd say if you just want something that's like a one shot, one season, you don't have to worry about anything else at the minute, and
Mm.
you can keep on top of it. I'd say one called Hell's Paradise because it
Right.
uses the idea of real world. It's all fantasy, of course, but it links in like real world religion and things like that into it. So it doesn't completely go off into its own landscape. Otherwise, I would suggest one called Vinland Saga because there is no magic and nonsense or anything like that. It is like watching Vikings on like Netflix and stuff, but just anime. That's it. That's the only difference, really. So you
Right.
can just delve into the medium without having to deal with all the other stuff. So yeah, I'd say Vinland Saga. Yeah,
Fascinating. It's a hell of a minefield for people trying to get into, I think, and it can be quite off-putting. So like it's good suggestions.
yeah.
All right, let's move on then. What horror movie cliche character would you be?
Ooh, horror movie cliche. That is a tough one. Oh God. See, the problem is like I've not watched many horrors in a while, and half the ones I watch are like you Ju-on the Grudge,
Hmm.
and you've got a lot of the comedy ones like you Shaun of the Dead, the Cornetto trilogy, as it's so called over here. Ah, that's a real horror one, a horror trope. I couldn't think of a film one per se.
Hmm.
Uh, hmm, that's such a loaded question. My brain is going a mile a minute. Uh, uh,
Okay.
can I skip that one?
Of course we can. Of course we can. We move on. Do you have any tattoos? If no, would you get one? If yes, tell me about one.
Yeah, that's more manageable. So, ironically, as a greb, I have no tattoos. I have no tattoos whatsoever, none in the slightest. Arms, legs, head, wherever, nothing.
Mm.
I just don't have one because I think I've got that weird sort of. I don't know if I'd ever settle on my first tattoo ever at this
Mm.
point. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be a music related one, and it would probably be the Trivium T logo down the back of my leg, sort of thing.
Really?
Because Trivium was the first proper full on metal band I ever bought a CD for when I was younger, and
Mm.
they still carry on to this date. There's still a band I listen to pretty much every day, and I've actually got like one of Matt Heafy's signature guitars sat over there in the back somewhere. Love the band, and it feels like it makes sense, no matter how you look at it, that you carry a piece of you on you as well as with you.
Wonderful. What would your dream job be aside from being a musician?
Oh, this is another one. Okay, so this is a strange one
Hmm.
because I think mine would have to be like a sushi chef. Because
Okay.
one of my hobbies outside of this is I love making sushi. So I'm not the best at it. It visually looks like an absolute eyesore 9 out of 10 times, but I've made it for people. I've made it. I've brought it to work and stuff like that, and people have really enjoyed it. And I love making it. So I'd love to actually turn that kind of hobby into a profession. I know
Oh
it's a niche.
wow.
A lot of people don't like the raw fish and what have you, but there's ways around it. Like I'll use smoked salmon instead of frozen salmon. So it's something for everyone. I like to think, but yeah, I'd do something like that.
Fascinating. Yeah, I mean, of course, sushi, it's an acquired taste. I personally love it, but I know plenty of people don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it will be a niche dish for a lot of people, but it's everything was niche until you gave it a go, right?
Of course, of course. Do you game? Do you play games? Video games?
Oh yes, I'm a massive gamer myself. I'm more along the lines of Nintendo than anything like that. I grew up with most of the systems, but yeah, I am a gamer.
Just because this one's quite specific, so we can skip it if you don't have an answer. But basically, it's either or. Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
The only reason this might be a tough one for me is because I've not yet played Elden Ring, but I
Ah,
have played Dark Souls.
okay, okay. Do you like Dark Souls? Are you a fan?
I do love Dark Souls. I'm a massive fan of it. Yeah, I mean, story's one of those ones where it doesn't give you too much in the game, so it encourages you to look on your own, and it's beautiful. It's a really gorgeous game to play, and well, despite dying every 5 minutes,
Well,
it's
of
so,
course.
so beautiful.
All right, the best Disney film song. What is it?
Ooh, best Disney film song.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for me, it's going to be a properly kind of left field. It's a Tangled song. It's a I can't quite remember what the name of it was. Hold on.
Tangled.
Tangled. At last I see the light. So it's
Okay.
a really good song because I used to actually is a little backstory, a little bit of history of me. I used to sing quite a lot,
Mm.
and that was one of the songs I used to duet. And like whenever I think back to it now, I'm like, oh, it's really good harmonies. It's simple. It's not too in your face, and it's a song you can relax to, and it's about being completely isolated because Tangled is it's just a Rapunzel story at the end of the
Yes.
day, but it's about freedom and finding people that match you despite
Yeah.
everything else. And I really like it. I suppose it's a bit of a niche one, but I really love it.
It's nice to hear that because, there's some people who automatically revert if they get that question to like the big hitters, the ones you kind of know. So it's good.
Hmm.
Um, what is your earliest memory of playing a video game?
My earliest memory of playing a video game. By the way, is it a bit dark? Do you want me to turn the light on?
No, you're okay. You're
Cool,
okay.
sweet. Yeah. So my earliest memory of playing a video game will actually have to be when my dad bought me my first console, and that
Mm.
was the Game Boy Advance SP, and it was Pokemon Sapphire for the Game Boy
Okay.
Advance SP. I used to, and I still to this day think it's so annoying that brands and video game companies don't make games with back then they had colored cartridges and things like
Yeah.
that. I used to love stuff like that, but I still remember just obviously never playing a video game before ever, just putting that in there, turning it on, and that was just it. Start it up, pick your character, pick your Pokemon, addiction till the day I die.
Yeah, I mean, wow, yeah, that's a hell of a game to start with. Okay. Uh, I'm going to go a couple more. What is a song that will always get you in a pit?
The song will always get me in a pit.
Yeah,
Ooh. I would have to say, probably it'll probably be "From This Day" by Machine Head.
really.
It is such a bouncy new metal song that the lyrics are stupid and the riff is really simple, and it was from the era of Machine Head where everyone was like, is Rob about to lose his mind or something like that? But I'm like, man, it's so good. Like how this gets not included in half like the club nights when they do new metal nights. It's such a good song, and yeah, every time, no matter where I'm in the crowd, I'm like, I'm that way, mate. What's
Yeah, I feel like the Club Nights would revert to some of the Blood, the Sweat, and the Tears from that album anyway, or something like that, really.
more than likely, which is still a banger, but
Yeah. All right, pineapple and pizza. Yay or nay? Where do you sit?
I'd say absolutely. What do you have the taste buds of a 4-year-old? Like, no. But I mean, pineapple. I think it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, is tomato not a fruit if we're going to be funny? So why can't
Mm.
pineapple be on a pizza? It's been around for ages, and it adds a nice sweet boost to it. I mean, and it's usually done with Hawaiian, so it's done with ham, so you get a nice flavor and texture contrast. Eat your pizza and get on with your life.
Fair enough. Okay, last but not least, what is a fun conspiracy theory? An emphasis there on the word fun. A fun conspiracy theory that you could be convinced is true.
Oh, you know what? Is this skippable? Because I don't do conspiracy theories at all. I really don't do
Mm.
them.
No, okay. Let me pull out one more then at random. Uh, there we go. What is the first thing you do after you wake up?
The first thing I do after I wake up,
Yeah.
I suppose I don't know if it's weird or not, but I will just go and make a coffee. Like I haven't
Oh,
brushed my teeth yet or anything like that. I will just go and make a drink. But
yeah.
I know this sounds like a weird, mundane old man thing to say, but you can't go and brush your teeth and then go and stain and stink up your breath with tea and coffee straight afterwards. You've done an anti-rule. Slap round the back of the head, go back to sleep, mate. Try again tomorrow. You stink. Come on now. But yeah, standard Java to get the day going.
No, I get that. That's pretty much the same thing I do as well. But we can do on April the 11th. You could start your morning by jumping onto whatever streaming service you so choose to use, or even on YouTube if you want to watch the video as well for Glass Hands. It is out on April 11th. Of course, we've got those shows coming up, which you can find all this information about on your social media. And yeah, whatever comes next, the next releases, the next gigs, the future for the band. Cannot wait. Oscar, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Carl. I've had a really good time talking to you. As much as I've slowly just become a face with no background, it's still been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.